Hello guys, and welcome again to this very one. My name is Chris and this is my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. This is the second episode of the same case study, which I tagged men are responsible for 70 to 80% of grey divorce. We call it grey divorce because it's the divorce and the marriage that has been in existence for 10 to 30 years, and that's why we call it grey divorce. Right, in the last episode, for those of you who have not seen the first episode, please click on the link above and you'll be able to see exactly what we discussed, what I shared with you in the first episode. Today I've come to kind of expatiate further on the reason why I said men are responsible for 70 to 80% grey divorce. It may not necessarily mean grey divorce. It might be a marriage just about 2-3 years, you know. Don't get it wrong. I'm not saying ladies are not responsible for some factors, are not contributing some certain percentage of reasons why we have this divorce, but I consistently want to look into the ratio, all right? And that's exactly what I'm doing in this particular episode number 2. Right, the reason why we have grey divorce, why do couple who have spent 10 to 30 years together, why do they have to call for divorce? Right, everything boils down to the inability to curtail further excesses. I'm going to be on the side of the women today because just like I said in the first video, in the first episode, that it is quite difficult for you to see a woman, a lady, a wife who is into a specific marriage and wanting the marriage to end after 10 years or after 5 years. She will definitely put certain things into consideration. For instance, her children, the life she has built, the empire she has built with the husband. But most men don't care really about the children. They don't put into consideration, they don't put into account the children, what they stand to kind of suffer from when there is a situation to talk about when it comes to divorce. I want to say categorically that the reason why people divorce after 30 years or after 20 years or 30 years of marriage is the inability to curtail further excesses. It is quite, true that the wives get to a certain level and they will be unable to curtail the excesses from the husband. Say the excesses that is around adultery, mismanagement of funds, and greed. You know, your wife can tolerate you for a certain number of years, but when it gets to a certain level, she will definitely have to give up and call for divorce. Take for instance, if you have been in extramarital affairs for quite some time and your wife has caught you on several occasions, she might decide to forgive you, but when she gets to a particular point in time, she's going to call for divorce because then she's tired. Especially when your extramarital affairs leads to you impregnating certain lady outside, then she might not be able to take that. It is quite easy for the wives, for the ladies, for the women to forgive the men, even if you're caught in extramarital affairs, even if you are caught in adultery, they still find someone in their heart, some place in their hearts to forgive you. But how many of the men out there can actually forgive their wives, after catching them in extramarital affairs? We can't even find 5% of men that can forgive their wives in adultery. But we can see about 70 to 80% of women out there who can forgive their husbands, catching them in adultery, in extramarital affairs and things like that. But when your extramarital affairs leads to you impregnating another lady outside, your wife may not be able to further curtail that excesses of you, being in adultery on a regular basis. The second thing is mismanagement of funds. Just like I said in the first clip, that some women, they trust their husband to the extent that they even give their salary to the husband so that they can work together around the scope and build an empire. But some men, we prefer to take the money to take care of some other things unknown to the wives. You take a case study of a woman, a wife that has been working and been given the money to the husband, in the belief that they can build an empire together. And the man is consistently using the money to take care of the side chick on the outside. How would you feel? Now, on the first count, second count, third count, the woman might forgive you. But believe you me, when it gets to a certain stage, the woman may not be able to curtail you, may not be able to endure any further, and definitely she has to call for divorce. And when they call a family meeting, something that we call a family meeting, she will be able to explain the reason why she's calling for a divorce. And let me tell you as a man that when it gets to that particular stage where your wife can no longer curtail your excesses and she decides to call for divorce, it will be very difficult for you to bring her back, whether you like it or not. All right. So it is high time you check yourself, cut down on your excesses and understand the fact that despite the fact that you have been with this woman, right, she can actually call for divorce when she's no longer able to curtail your excess. Because in a situation whereby both the husband and the wife runs a joint account, right? Maybe in a situation whereby the woman gets the salary, the wife gets the salary and gives it to the husband to keep, for them to be able to put money together and build an empire with it. And this man is busy out there, lavishing the money, going to the club, spending the money on side chick. All right? If you notice your husband in that particular category, stop giving your money to him. He's not building any empire. The empire he's building is on the side chicks. He's not going to build any empire with you. And when you get to a certain stage, when you no longer give your money to your husband and he asks you for it and you didn't give it to him, that will cause him to be very angry. And that will cause mayhem. That will mean that there's not going to be peace in the house because you no longer give the money to me. We men are so manipulative, especially men that have known the weak point of their wives. When a man is angry, he will believe in his mind that his wife is going to come to me anyways. If I'm angry, she's going to come to me. So bring the money over. And the moment you stop to give the money to him, because you have seen the way he spends the money, he becomes angry. And it causes problem in the house. And you as a woman, because you're so soft-hearted, you want peace. You will go to him again, blah, blah, blah. If you are a man and you are in this particular category, don't forget that it will get to a time that wife of yours will not be able to curtail such excesses from you. Don't forget, I'm talking about everything boils down to curtailing excesses. Because I can tell you categorically that 80 to 90% of wives can curtail excesses. But how many of the men out there can curtail excesses of women? I am not saying the women are innocent. The wives are innocent. They don't have anything to talk about. But what is the ratio? What is the ratio? So assistant firm on it to say that men are responsible for 70 to 80, even to 90% of grey divorce. Because sometimes it's so worrying that couples that have spent 30 years of marriage, they have spent their lives, 30 years of their lives together, they still divorce themselves. So you now be wondering what's going on, this and that. It's the inability to further curtail the excesses. They are tired. The wives are tired, they are choked. The husband's going out every day, sleeping with different kinds of girls that are young enough to be their daughters, and some of the girls, some of these side chicks, we even have the effrontery, we even have the guts to threaten the wife at home, to send derogatory messages to the wives at home, to say, you know what, it's our husband. What you are doing to him is what I'm doing to him. We have side chicks like that who are so not in the head. Some of them will have probably forgotten that the money that man is spending on them belongs to the woman. And when it gets to a certain stage, this wife of yours will be up to this level. And she will no longer be able to curtail your excesses. Then now she wants divorce. We have seen on several occasions where wives have helped their husbands with money, in cash, in kinds, in different forms. But the only thing the men can pay back with is to be with different kinds of side chicks and things like that. Excessive, when they drink too much, excessive drinking to stupor, getting drunk and things like that. When they get to a certain stage, your wife will not be able to curtail you. She wants divorce. Because she doesn't want anything to affect the kids. Because your excess definitely is going to affect the family. It's going to bring about mayhem. It's going to bring about havoc on the family. she won't be able to curtail it. Greed for everything. You can't be satisfied. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, guys. I can categorically tell you 100% that it's going to be really hard for you to find 5 to 10% of men who don't cheat. Who doesn't cheat? It's going to be very hard. Pastors do. Even people that you hold to high esteem, people you hold to the higher ranks, you are very surprised behind closed doors what they do. It's because you are here to catch them. Okay? It's because you are here to catch them. So, the reason for all of this, why we experience great divorce, boils down to inability to curtail excesses. The wives are too tired. They can no longer curtail. They can no longer continue to live with you. You have done this on several occasions. They've tried to correct you. They've tried to sit you down as a man to say, darling, what you are doing to me, I do not like it. But you as a man, you still continue to do this. It will get to a time they are up to this level. They can no longer tolerate it. And that's the reason why they call for divorce. Because I believe 100% that no women, no wives, we want to put the lives of our children on the line. Before a woman can call for divorce, before a wife can call for divorce, she will put her kids into consideration. She will put her kids into consideration in the fact that, in the sense that the children will suffer immensely from the divorce. She will do it. But you as a man, how much do you even care? You don't even care. Even if you don't come back that night, if you go out in the morning, you don't come back, you don't care what the kids eat. All right? And you believe in your mind that she cannot divorce you. Believe you me, she will divorce you. And another man will take her on. Another man will marry her and she will continue her life. So ladies, wives, if you have tried to the war, you have curtailed excesses, you have been so tolerant for a very long time. In order for you not to enter into depression, in order for you not to put your own life on the line, right? Call for divorce. Don't let your marriage consistently live and wallow in what you call abusive marriage. Call for divorce so that you can have the better part of life. You can be in a marriage for 30 years of agony. All right? But in as much as you know you are in a marriage of agony for this X number of years, call for divorce so that you can enjoy the rest of your life before you go to the grave. Don't forget, you are not born, you didn't come to this earth to suffer that much. You can endure, you can tolerate your husband. But when the excesses get beyond reasonable level, call for divorce and move on. Believe you me, do yourself very well. Nice makeup, nice hairdressings, nice, different kinds of things. Do things that will make that particular lucky man, that will make that man outside find you more interesting. There are men out there that are actually looking for good women, that are looking for good wife, but they can't find. Make yourself available for such man. It's just a piece of advice. Don't give in to these men consistently. Let them treat you like a piece of trash, like rags. Just because you are putting your kids into consideration, they take advantage of that. They know your weak point, and the moment they know your weak point, they will work on it on a regular basis. There's absolutely nothing you want to do about it. And because they have forgotten that they've forgotten that it will get to a time that you can no longer tolerate them. So show them that if you divorce them today, you will find somebody else on the outside. Practice this, it's going to really work for you. It is my wish that you enjoy your marriage, but if you are not at the moment, there is no law that says you must remain forever in that marriage. If you are not enjoying that marriage, call for divorce immediately. Don't waste too much time. Life is sweet than for you to put yourself in such agony and for the rest of your life. And if care is not taken, you are consistently depressed. And if you are depressed on a regular basis, it's going to affect your heart. And when it affects your heart, your BP is raised. And when your BP is raised, you're very close to death. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let that happen to you. If you've got anything different from this, or if there's anything you want to add to this one at all course, please feel free to put it in the comment section below. And then give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Try as much as possible to help us to share it. And then I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.